legitimate national championship contender, or the most overrated team in America? Mark Rogers TV on the 2013 Ohio State Buckeyes, and everything looks in place on the surface for the Buckeyes to take a crack at Alabama and the rest of the elite in the SEC and elsewhere in college football. 12-0 last season. Braxton Miller looks to be a leading Heisman candidate at quarterback, and of course the Buckeyes have one of the best coaches in the country in Urban Meyer. That's on the surface, and that's why there's so much hype in Columbus about the Buckeyes making a run toward the BCS Championship. But let's look at the defense. The front seven on defense has been decimated, especially up front in the trenches. John Simon was the heart and soul of this team. Urban Meyer said it so many times throughout 2012. And Simon, the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, is gone, along with the Buckeyes run stopper, Jonathan Hankins, opting early to go to the NFL draft. You will see Hankins taken most likely in the first round in April. The Buckeyes' leading tackler at linebacker, Zach Boren, gone, along with their most athletic linebacker, Etienne Sabino. These are the stars for the Buckeyes coming back. Of course, Braxton Miller at quarterback set a Big Ten record with 3,300 total yards, rushing and passing total offense for Miller. Despite that, he completes just 58% of his passes. He's got to get more accurate for the Buckeyes to play with the big boys outside the Big Ten, and he's been working on his footwork during the winter drills in Columbus. Braxton Miller, 5th in the Heisman Trophy balloting in 2012. Carlos Hyde, what a back he is. Not great speed, but he converts the 3rd down and the 4th down short yardage situations. And he does have good speed, and Carlos Hyde, one of those backs who runs so tough and so hard when it counts, scored 16 touchdowns for the Buckeyes in 2012. Corey Brown on the outside is very dependable, 60 receptions and 3 touchdowns, but they get more big plays out of Devin Smith, who's got to make more pass receptions with Braxton Miller, possibly getting more accurate in that Buckeyes backfield. Okay, now to the X factors on offense, and this is really the guy that the Buckeyes could use to get to that next level of offense. The H-back, the slot back, whatever you want to call him, he's a hybrid at Jordan Hall. He arrived on campus as a top recruit, but couldn't take the starting position away from first Boom Herron and then Carlos Hyde, because it just wasn't a fit. Jordan Hall, not the type of guy that can lug the ball 25 times. He's under 200 pounds. And now Urban Meyer is excited because he thinks he's got Jordan Hall in the right fit as an H-back, a slot back, a Percy Harvin type for the Buckeyes. So Jordan Hall, after an injury-riddled career in Columbus, the redshirt senior, will get one more crack to make an impact for the Scarlet and Gray. On defense, there's all sorts of guys we could point to as X factors. We'll go to the defensive end positions with Noah Spence and Adolphus Washington. They got valuable minutes, but not starting minutes. They will carry the burden of a starting position this season. They were both big recruits, as was Curtis Grant, a linebacker, a 5-star recruit who through 2 seasons in Columbus has a total of, count them, 10 total tackles. Curtis Grant has been a major disappointment. Started 2012 on the depth chart at number 1. He was a starter, but lost his job very quickly. He's looked good in the winter drills and through the first 2 Buckeye spring practices as the Buckeyes are taking spring break and then the exams, and then they come back on March 29th, and then the spring schedule concludes with the Scarlet and Gray game on April 22nd. Those are the X factors. Jordan Hall on offense, and the defensive ends, Adolphus Washington and Noah Spence, and also Curtis Grant, the linebacker, on defense, as the Buckeyes try to revamp the defense and need to rebuild quickly before the schedule gets tough when Big Ten plays, after the Buckeyes have a bit of a cupcake non-conference schedule. We know who the stars are. Again, we talked about Corey Brown and Carlos Hyde. Also, Braxton Miller at quarterback, 5th in the Heisman balloting, led the Big Ten, and actually set a Big Ten conference record with 3,300 yards total offense. And also Ryan Shazier, this guy hits like a truck at linebacker and rushes the passer from the outside. He's got tremendous speed, and he hits and lays the lumber for Ohio State. So that's it for the Buckeyes. They need to replace those guys in the front 7 on defense, or this team will not win a Big Ten championships, let alone contend for a national championship in Columbus. The Buckeyes open it up August 31st against Buffalo. Need to hear from you, Big Ten fans, Ohio State fans, on the Buckeyes 2013 prospects, right here on Mark Rogers TV.